Hi, I'm Lonnie Ward. Over the past 15 years, I've worked in countries battling extreme poverty, meeting incredible people, and learning life-changing lessons. Now, I'm here to share their stories and a few of my own with you. I can't wait to take you along. Wind blew gently around me, the air carrying the faint scent of rain and the earthy promise of new life for the ground below. The melody of birdsong mingled with the soft rustle of the wind, weaving through the sparsely covered, rolling fields like a whispered lullaby of peace. Above, the sky stretched endlessly, a brilliant blue so vast it was almost beyond comprehension. This was Chizini, Kenya, a rural community far removed from the bustle of Nairobi, where life was simple yet demanding. It was here, amidst the rugged beauty, that I met Julius. Julius was a farmer, his dark skin tanned and creased from toiling hours under the hot sun. He lived in a small thatched home tucked into the landscape, surrounded by the field that he cultivated with his own calloused hands. His family was large and their needs were many, but resources were scarce. Like most farmers in the area, Julius depended on a small plot of land to provide for his family. At first glance, his life seemed like countless others in the region, one of struggle and subsistence. But as I got to know him, I realized he was anything but ordinary. What struck me first was his ingenuity. Near his house was a small, hand-dug catch basin, a simple but ingenious solution to a critical problem. Most farmers here relied solely on the rains, which could be unpredictable and often devastating when they didn't come. Julius, however, wanted to take his fate into his own hands. He began digging with nothing but a shovel, a bucket, and his own determination. When the hole he dug got too deep to throw the dirt out of, he would empty his shovel into his bucket and haul it out when it became full. He repeated this grueling process until he carved out his basin, 12 feet deep and about 15 feet wide, completely on his own. When the rains came, the basin would fill, storing precious water for the dry months. The water pan allowed him to irrigate his crops even when others' fields withered under the unforgiving sun. In a place where survival depended on the whims of nature, this simple reservoir was a lifeline and a testament to Julius's determination. Julius grew corn, as most farmers did. The stalk stood about 5 feet tall, waving gently in the breeze as a testament to Julius's efforts. But the ears were small, and corn, though a staple, didn't bring much income. When I first met Julius, he was making barely $1 or $2 a day. It wasn't much, but his resourcefulness and determination set him apart. I was working with an organization called the Institute for Self-Reliant Agriculture, later known as Feed the World. Our mission was to help families like Julius's improve their agriculture practices and, in turn, their lives. He embraced the training we provided, learning how to diversify his crops and increase his yield. 10 years later, I returned to Chizini. The area was experiencing a time of drought, and many farmers' crops had begun to shrivel up with the lack of rainfall. I began to feel nervous, thinking of my friend and the impact that the absence of rains could have on his livelihood. As we got out of the car and headed down the hill towards his farm, a feeling of foreboding came over me. I was fairly certain that I knew where his farm was, but I was not seeing the green fields that I expected to see. Instead, I was met with dry, parched soil devoid of life. Just before reaching his farm, I came to the surface stand that the community used for water. Several mothers and young children were filling the jugs from the little bit of water that remained. The lack of water shocked me. The rainy season had only ended about a month before and should have left the dam brimming with a life-giving resource. But this drought meant that these lands, and more importantly, these people, would be surviving with very little water for at least 3 months until the next predicted storms. The reality of what this meant surged over me like a great wave. How will they survive without water? With that dire question hanging heavy in my mind, I continued to walk across the barren field toward Julius's house. As we approached, I saw a man stand, look for a moment, and then start towards us. I was about halfway across the field when he came out of the trees and recognized me. He raced over to me and we embraced. Relief and joy washed over me at the sight of my old friend. He grabbed my wrist and pulled me towards his home. I asked Julius about his farm, and he told me that the spring rains had never come, making it impossible to plant anything in his farm that year. The hole that he had dug to capture water was empty. My heart sank. How could this man take care of his wife and 10 children without being able to grow any food? Even so, his contagious smile never left his face while he talked with us. Julius then told us that before the last rainfall, the community had rallied together to convince the county government to create another larger surface dam about a mile away from his home that still contained water. They then had gathered together and planted a communal garden using the water from that surface dam to raise a few crops, with the intention of growing just enough food to get everyone through the harsh drought. My heart lifted with every word spoken by Julius. This community may not have had much when it came to the necessities of life, but they had a unity and camaraderie that would be envied by even the richest of people. When danger threatened their doorstep, they turned towards each other, not against, to find a way to weather the storm. I wanted to do something. What could I do? My resources are so limited. Then the thought came to me that maybe just giving them more hope would be a start. The collaboration of this community was the only thing getting them through such a difficult time. The progress was inspiring, but they still had a long way to go. I was with my colleague Bevington, who knew a powerful song about working together, or in Swahili, Harambe. I asked him to teach them the song and then lead us in singing it. As we sang, the cloud of worry lifted and was replaced with the additional rays of hope for a brighter future achieved through collaboration. Time passed, and the community survived. Julius never changed. He still worked tirelessly to improve his circumstances. The next time I saw him, his water pan had grown, tripling in size, and his success had grown with it. He was now harvesting buckets of tomatoes, 5-gallon buckets in a single day. Each bucket brought between $10 and $20 at the market. His income soared from a few $100s a year to several thousand. The transformation was visible everywhere. Julius had built a new home and replaced the old thatched roof with a sturdy, glinting metal one, a status symbol in the community. The metal roof kept the rain out completely, a luxury that signaled he was leaving extreme poverty behind. But Julius's impact didn't stop at his own doorstep. When drought struck and other farmers faced devastating crop failures, Julius's water pan kept his fields alive. He rationed his water carefully, ensuring his crops would survive. And when his neighbors saw the difference it made, he inspired them to come together. They pulled their efforts to petition the county to help them dig the very water pan that got them through the harsh drought of a few years prior. I could see their pride when they spoke of it, a resource not just for one family, but for the whole community. But the change didn't end there. While touring the community, I spotted a small one-room shack along the side of the road, built from mud, sticks, and thatch. This time, the community had come together to build something almost as vital as the dams that held their water. They had constructed a small preschool, working to provide their children with an education. Julius was what we called a positive deviant. He stood out, not because of extraordinary resources or privileges, but because of his extraordinary mindset. He embraced the challenges, thought through the solutions, and put in the work. Many farmers hesitated to fully adopt the training we offered, But Julius proved that with determination, our methods could transform lives. His success gave others the courage to follow his example. He taught me more than I ever expected. Watching Julius build a better life for his family and then turn around to help his community reminded me of the power of resilience and generosity. Challenges are inevitable, but Julius showed me that we don't have to wait for someone else to solve them. We can dig our own water pits, literal or figurative, and create solutions that ripple out, touching the lives of others. As I left Chizini that last time, I looked out over the land again, the fields, the water pans, the school, and the home glinting with a metal roof, and thought about the difference one person can make. Julius hadn't just improved his life, he had lifted the lives of those around him. And in doing so, he taught me a lesson I'll carry with me always. When you rise, bring others with you. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who'd love these stories too. To learn more or connect with me, visit lonnieward.com. Until next time, be the change.